Good evening, I'm Cole Hartman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. There were multiple headlines today for the Nebraska softball team. Senior shortstop Billy Andrews was named a third-team All-American by the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. Andrews was recognized as an All-American for the second straight season, becoming the 10th player in program history to be a two-time All-American. The Nebraska native hit .383 this season with 10 doubles, 2 triples, 18 home runs, and 45 RBIs. Keeping with softball, the team added a talented middle infielder in Ava Kuzak to their 2025 roster. Kuzak is a transfer from Wisconsin who will be a junior next year with 2 seasons of eligibility at Nebraska. The Colorado native was a second-team All-Big Ten and third-team All-Region selection in her first season as an everyday starter in 2024. She had a breakout sophomore season, hitting .318 with 15 doubles, 1 triple, 9 home runs, and 32 RBIs. Head coach Rhonda Ravel said Ava is a fiery competitor who is a powerful, fast, and explosive player. Husker fans will absolutely love how she plays the game with so much energy and passion. Turning towards the other diamond sport, there's big Husker news in Major League Baseball. Former Husker Spencer Schwellenbach is set to become the 40th Nebraska baseball player to reach the major leagues after his contract was selected by the Atlanta Braves. In 8 minor league starts this season, Schwellenbach was 4-1 with a 1.8 ERA. He struck out 51 in 45 innings and did not allow a run in 13 innings with Mississippi. Spencer will start on the mound in the third contest of their 4-game home series against the Washington Nationals tonight at 6:20 Central. Finally, Director of Athletics Troy Dannon announced today that Nebraska has signed 4-time national champion head volleyball coach John Cook to a new 5-year contract. The recently completed deal runs through January 31st of 2029, with Cook receiving an annual salary of $825,000 beginning on June 1st. We are fortunate to have Coach Cook leading our volleyball program, Dannon said. He is the most accomplished coach in the nation and one of the top coaches in the history of American volleyball. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is coming up next here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Yeah, they 1-0. Swung on, hit pretty well towards the left field, and it's going to sail out of here onto the concourse behind 126. Josh carrying it with a 3-run bomb, and it's 3-1 Huskers.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball ripped to left center field. That's going to be a gapper. That's going to score the run. And the Huskers have taken a 2-1 lead. Gabe Swanson with an RBI double. It's now Nebraska 2, Penn State 1 in the top of the 9th. Brett ready to deliver the first pitch. Breaking ball, that's looped to left field. Gabe Swanson is there. He squeezes it. And your Huskers are Big Ten champions. After losing game 1 Tuesday night, they come back and win 5 straight and capture the Big Ten tournament for the first time since joining the league. And the dog pile is ongoing in front of the plate.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Boy, don't you love it? It's already hump day, right? Halfway to another weekend for everybody after the long Memorial Day weekend. You've already made it through Wednesday. How quickly does that go? Wow, what a couple of days for Rhonda Ravel. We told you last night about the twins from Scott High School in Omaha who started their collegiate career at Arkansas, had good success for the Razorbacks. Now they get Ava Kuzak from Wisconsin. Very good shortstop. And just the best thing is that fills a nice need. Huskers with Billy Andrews gone, and congrats to her, by the way, another All-American honor for Billy. That was a need, and they went and got a good one.
Yeah, and she's young, too, has 2 seasons of eligibilities left here, but they needed to fill that. And, you know, this day and age with the transfer portal and the teams that are competitive, you add that experience. I mean, we've seen it with Coach Hoiberg and men's basketball, but I think certainly with this softball program, with losing so much experience that had played so much softball here, and some of the captains. And while they have some coming back, they're losing a lot of great leadership. And so adding some players that are filled some needs in terms of just roster spots and positions that are on the field, but also experience that have played for Ava in the Big Ten, for the Twins in the SEC. So they've played in some big programs and some big stages that they'll be able to come in and not be overwhelmed by the stage of Nebraska softball.
I love it. I love it that Coach Ravel is getting into that portal and getting busy and finding people that can come right in and plug a hole. And why wouldn't you come with Jordy Ball still having 2 years of eligibility? That's got to be a huge draw.
And quite a bit of talent coming back. You know, I mean, this team they just had so many injuries over the last year, just devastating blow after devastating blow, and they still were right there. I mean, they were on the bubble of making the postseason and had some really great talent. And so, yes, you're losing players like Billy Andrews, Brooke Andrews, but you've got a lot of young talent that's coming back. That there's a great core that I think, you know, we're sitting here talking. We were talking the other night about the Women's College World Series, and should have mentioned we very well could see a Nebraska team that's knocking on the door to Oklahoma City coming up here soon. I think they are putting together a team that should be very much capable, and as we've seen, a dominant pitcher can really do a lot of things for you.
I think they're done?
No.
I don't either.
I don't. I think they've got a couple more spots left. I think they'd like to maybe add one more pitcher to go along with what they have to complement Jordy and, you know, the staff that they have. And I think they might try to add one more bat. So I think they've got some room, and there's still plenty of additions to the portal. And some of these teams that are in the Women's College World Series still might have some players. We see that every year, where once they're done, they enter the portal. So I think there's still a lot of good options left in the portal. And yeah, as you mentioned, Jordy Ball carries a lot of weight for a lot of these players.
Absolutely. All right, the other big story, Cole touched on it in the ticker. An announcement mid-morning today by Troy Dannon that John Cook has a new 5-year contract that runs through early 2029. A nice salary bump for him. He gets it's a $75,000 annually, a bump, and a retention bonus that he gets if he's still here in a month. I like my odds of that still happening. And then here came the twist. The twist was, getting all choked, the twist was not bump his salary every year. The twist was to supply him some money for his new horse that he's buying. How about that?
Yes, and he, obviously we know he is very passionate about it, but I think for him, he's all about, we've seen him promoting some of the people that he's worked with within the rodeo industry, whether it be the UNL Rodeo Club, some of those guys that he's become fond of and work with. And so I think it was also a way to kind of give those guys a plug in this contract, but he's excited about it, and he just really has embraced that. And this is a horse that's from the state of Nebraska, and so he's really proud of it. And we're going to chat with him here about it coming up. We're going to hear all about number 415.
How about
415.
That? Yeah, it's called 415, so they haven't really named it. He'll be the one that has to name this thing, but there's no way any contract had something like that put into words. And I don't even know if it's going to go in the contract. It might just be kind of a handshake type deal that they have. But I think the bigger story is he's here for a while. There was a lot of murmur in December that if they won, he might step away.
Yeah, but I think he's just found a new love and passion for it. And I know I saw some of the media folks that were diving into the contract, maybe some of the verbiage that's in there. And whether he does make it till 2029 or not, I think it's really important to have a guy like Coach Cook as we navigate through what this new look NCAA college athletics. We're about to hear a lot of changes that are coming. And so, you know, I think that stability of having Coach Cook be signed on, I think that's really important for this athletics department, for certainly the volleyball program. And this is a big time for women's sports. It's a huge time for volleyball. We see it continue to grow. And so to continue to be the pinnacle here at Nebraska and to have Coach Cook to sign on through this little bit of navigation time of uncertainty, I think is really, really important. I also think there's some really talented assistant coaches that probably aren't ready yet that maybe could, I don't know, take over the reins. I think both Jalen and Kelly are going to be fantastic coaches one day. Are they ready? I don't know, but it also buys you some time there to keep because they signed new contract extensions back in December, right?
Yep.
And so if they are locked on too, then you give them a couple more years, and then maybe they're, by the time Coach Cook is done, they are ready to take over the reins.
He is the reigning AFCA National Coach of the Year. He's won that 3 times. And he's already a Hall of Famer. He's already been put in the AVCA Hall of Fame. I don't know how you couldn't when he's won 4 national championships. So cool deal. Congratulations to Coach, and a new one on me. Working a horse, number 415, into your contract deal. All right, here's what we have on the program tonight. Jessica did get a chance to catch up with Coach Cook earlier today. Going to hear all about it. Can't wait to hear his rendition of all of this. Rhema, help me on the last name. We've kind of debated on this.
Otabor.
Otabor.
Yeah.
Who's a track and field national champion from last year.
Yes.
She's going to go back to try to defend the title in Eugene in a week. She's going to join Jessica as the Huskers are about a week or 10 days out from heading to Eugene to compete for the NCAA championships. We'll have that. And Dave Mlnarik, who is the executive director of the Nebraska Sports Council, will be along to talk about the Cornhusker State Games, which they've got a deadline coming up if you want to be a part of that. And he's also ready to announce who the torchbearers are going to be.
Ooh.
So stay with.
It was a big one last year. I wonder how they're going to match it.
Well, I think you're going to be happy.
Okay.
So we're going to hear from Dave coming up in hour number 2. And as always, we want you to be a part of the program. 402-413-2400 with a call or a text. We're back to hear from Coach Cook next.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the RMA 460V lawnmower battery set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK30 battery and AL101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Macy Byers with Campus News. Computer science student Luke Ferreter won a global competition for being the first to decode passages from an ancient scroll. Using advanced AI, Ferreter became the first in centuries to reveal words from a Greek scroll damaged in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius nearly 2,000 years ago. The Lincoln native earned a $700,000 cash prize and international recognition for his achievements.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and big news today coming out from the AD, Troy Dannon, announcing that he has signed John Cook, the head volleyball coach, to a new 5-year contract. And joining us on the phone is Coach Cook himself. And Coach, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on the contract and the new horse, which was part of the release today.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And Troy and I have been talking for a couple months here. Well, he's kind of getting organized. And anyway, I kind of was driving from Nebraska to Wyoming, and I came up with the idea of this horse that I wanted to get. So that's why the horse deal got thrown in there a little bit. But, yeah, I feel very appreciative and honored to, coach Nebraska volleyball, and Troy's doing a great job of giving us some great support.
That's amazing. Well, I do want to talk lots more about the horse, but let's start there with Troy Dannon. And since he got here and you gotten to know him a little bit more, how have you enjoyed, diving into that relationship, conversing with him, and what his visions are here at Nebraska?
I'm very excited. I think Nebraska athletics, and you've already seen it this year. I think we've won 5 Big Ten championships over all the men's and women's sports, and Big Ten championships are really hard to win. And I just think we've got great momentum. I'm super excited about football. I'm counting the days down until Colorado Saturday night. And when I saw the schedule, I'm like, they got to put that thing on a Saturday night in Lincoln. That place is going to be hopping, and we've got a great schedule, and seeing what baseball is doing. I mean, it's just a great time to be a part of Nebraska athletics. But what I've been most impressed with Troy is he's got the vision of what's happening in college athletics. He's got a great plan, and he's not fazed by it. He's not intimidated by everything that's going on, because I can tell you, as coaches, we're like, what the heck is, how is this all going to work? And I just feel like he is really on top of things and knows what we got to get done, and is very well prepared, and will have Nebraska athletics ready to be the leader in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, your contract runs through January 31st to 2029. You've been doing this, and the best coach in college volleyball, but what keeps you motivated to want to keep going and keep coming back and leading this program?
Well, Jessica, that's a very good question. I ask myself that all the time, and I'm really, really enjoying coaching as much, if not more, than I ever have. And I actually was a part of a study done by our Department of Education and Psychology Department in their PhD program called the Wonder Years. And as we get older, we get into kind of a zone as we get older, and I feel like I'm in that zone right now, and this study proved it. They interviewed all kinds of people that have been doing it for a long time, and you just feel like all of a sudden I'm not saying it gets easier, but you just have the wisdom on how to handle things and know how to deal with things, and you just kind of can anticipate what's going to happen. And so I just feel like I'm in my wonder years, and if you look at the decade of my life right now, in my 60s here, we played for 4 national championships in the last 7 years. We've never had a run like that since I've been coaching here, and so anyway, I'm really enjoying it. I love our team. They're making a lot of fun. I've got young assistants that keep me going. So I'm really, really enjoying it, and I still have the fire. I mean, I think about it every day. We had a great year last year, but the way it ended, I mean, we have unfinished business.
Oh, that's fascinating. It's cool about the study and just, did you learn a lot, I'm sure, going through that too?
Yeah, they actually published the paper. It was a very intensive look into how people, perform as they get older. And they interviewed people from all different walks of life. I happen to be one of the coaches that they interviewed. But, I mean, you look at really successful people. I mean, I think Nick Saban, I mean, it's crazy when he got in his 60s. I mean, I think he won most of his national championships when he was out after 60 years old. And so there's one example right there, and I think he was actually referenced in that study. So look at Phil Jackson. I mean, we could start going through successful coaches and how well they've done later in their careers. And coaching is a hard business. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And, I think Coach Osborne might be another great example, now that we think about it. And I've talked to him many, many times, and he felt like he may have got out too early because, he had it rolling. And so anyway, I'm really enjoying it, and we're doing a great job recruiting, and, we have a waiting list for tickets. We're doing exciting things like the stadium match. We're going to continue to try to push the envelope on some things like that, and we're working on something for 2025. So that's it's a lot of fun right now, and like I said, I'm super fired up.
I love it. Well, part of the release today mentioned that you're going to maybe be able to purchase a really quote once in a lifetime horse that's named called number 415. Is that what you're going to name it? Is that what you're going to call it?
That's his name. That's how the Cowboys name him. And so I don't know how deep we want to go on this, but I went out to the Pitzer Ranch. I've been going out there. And one of the reasons I like going out there, I'm trying to learn how to rope and be a better horseman. And there's some fantastic cowboys out there that are unbelievable teachers. And it's helping me think about how I coach and how I teach, because I'm going through it. I mean, I'm a rookie, and they're doing a wonderful job with me. And there's 2 guys out there, Jim Brinkman, who runs the Pitzer Ranch, and Mark Ray, who's considered one of the best horse trainers in the country. And they're helping me a ton on how to learn this, and I've really, really enjoyed it. And I do chores with them. I do all that stuff. They work super hard. But they have a big sale, and just to give people a perspective on this, they have 400 mares. I mean, it's like a movie set. 400 mares that they're breeding every year and producing colts. Well, number 415, and he happened to be, when they bring him in and brand him as babies, he was number 415, and that's his name. He's number 415. He's got a 415 on his butt. And anyway, I went out there, and Mark Ray had me ride this horse, and I'm like, I've never ridden a horse that could do what this horse could do. And he just makes me so much better of what I'm trying to do roping-wise. And Mark Ray wasn't sure he wanted to sell him, and anyway, he went through the Pitzer sale, and he did what was called a no sale, which means he just didn't. They were bidding, and he just couldn't pull the trigger. And I think deep down he really wanted me to buy this horse. And I thought at first I'm not sure I'm ready for a horse like that, but after I've been out there and getting more experience, I called him, I said, hey, I'm going to throw this in my contract. Do we want to do this? He goes, I would love to. And here we are. And Troy loved it. And I just think it also, Western Nebraska is going to love this. And I want to ride this horse. I'm the Grand Marshal of the Burwell Rodeo, which for most of your people on your show in eastern Nebraska, the Burwell Rodeo is the oldest rodeo in the United States. 103 years old. And I needed a horse to ride in that. And I'm going to be out there for 2 nights for that in Burwell late in the end of July. And I've just fallen in love with Western Nebraska, the Sandhills, the horse world, and mainly the people there because they're just great. And I went to several brandings in the last couple of weeks, and it's just something pretty unique about Nebraska and pretty special, and I've fallen in love with it.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, for those that might not be familiar, some might be, but the roping part of it, I mean, it's a partnership, right? And the horse makes a huge difference to the cowboy and vice versa. I mean, it is a team sport.
And this is what I love about it. So now I'm going to try to compete in some events. They call it team roping events. But yeah, you have a head. There's 2 guys, and you rope a steer. One ropes the head, one ropes the feet. And I rope the head. And if you have a horse that knows what to do, and you don't have to worry about what your horse is going to do, it makes your life a lot easier because now you can just get in the right position and do it, what you're supposed to do. And this 415 horse, and again, Jessica, your sports, this is Sports Nightly. This 415 to me, this is like a once-in-a-decade type recruit for me. I mean, this is a Michaela Fecky, a Sarah Pavin, a Jordan Larson. I mean, these horses don't come along, and they're really hard to find because if you get one, you don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
And anyway, so this is going to be my connection to Western Nebraska, to the roping world, to the cowboy world, and mainly to the Pitzer Ranch and Mark Ray, who's part of the Pitzer Ranch. It gives me an in with these guys and an opportunity to continue to grow and learn, and it's a really special experience. And I'm way out of my comfort zone. I mean, I'm like, Olivia Mock and Skylar coming in as freshmen, and I know how they feel now. You're intimidated, you're scared to death, you don't want to mess up. So again, it's really helping my perspective on relating with our players and what they're going through, because I'm going through the same thing.
Oh, that's incredible. So he's called number 415, but does he have a nickname? Like if people ask about him, what are they going to call him? 415?
Well, he's the 415. Yeah. His registered name is Show Me a Hot Rod. So I don't know how we get a name out of that, but they all call him 415, and that's what the Cowboys do. They really don't name their horses. They call them by the numbers of the brand out there at the Pitzer Ranch. And now their studs, the studs have names. Okay, so because they're selling that stud and his brand and so on, they all have names. And but the horses that are just the workhorses, the ranch horses, he's 415. So that's what we call them.
Oh, okay, I love it. Well, we've heard you talk a lot about this passion and interest over the last couple of years, but what was it that first drew you to this and wanting to get involved with it, and then just the very beginning of it, how it really sparked your interest?
Well, I grew up with horses. My mom had horses. She bred horses. My sister rode. I never really got into it. And then in college, I worked on a ranch in Wyoming for 2 summers, and I was on a horse for 8 hours a day. And then I got into coaching. I started coaching football, and of course, all that went away. And then when we built this place in Wyoming that kind of everybody knows about, and my son was living up here, he said, let's get a horse. And that's where we started with Bud. But Bud's just a trail horse. And then I got invited to go work out with the UNL rodeo team. And so they put me on a horse, and they put me in the box to simulate turn this steer loose. But you're just going to hold on to your saddle horn and let your horse do its thing. And you're not going to rope. I wasn't roping or anything. And I'll never forget the feeling of coming out of that box, the power and the speed and how fast that steer was coming out, and just the feeling and the rush you got, on this horse chasing the steer. And then as the Cowboys will tell you, once you get the bug, you have it forever. And I got the bug, and my son's gotten into it now, and so we practice on dummies. We practice on dummies. We pull around the arena. We rope live steers, and of course I've met all these people. But this is what the Cowboys do in the brandings and so on. They're roping steers and doctoring them and branding them and all those things. So, but it's the competitive side of it, and just trying to learn how to do it and get better at it, and that's what sparked my interest. And again, I'm going to go back to the people I've met. They're incredible people. They're incredible, hardworking, and I'm going to tell you a quick story, Jessica. So, because Allison Widener on the women's basketball team, she's kind of my workout partner because she's been rehabbing, and I go down there in the mornings, and she's usually down there. And I was asking her, she lives on a farm, grew up on a farm and all that, and I said, "Do you have horses?" Because they thought I bought a horse out from Humphrey. They heard a rumor. I actually tried one out there. So I said, "Do you have horses?" She goes, "No, but I take care of them." And I said, "Well, what is it that you like taking care of them?" She goes, "I just love the chores, taking care of them and, making sure they're okay." And there's something to all this that it's the horse world and how hard these guys work, because those horses are depending on their owners and taking care of them. And the kids that grow up with that, they develop great skills of what it means to take care of somebody else by yourself. And so that's why I'm using all these horse analogies with my team, because these kids that are ranch kids, they have to work. They don't have a choice. And I just think it's such a refreshing culture, and it's also fun to get dirty and, be in the dirt and the dust and all that. There's just something to it. We've lost part of that, but America was built with horses, and that's why you see all these shows, Yellowstone in 1923, and now Kevin Costner's coming out with a new movie, Horizons, all about settling in. It's all about horses.
Absolutely. Well, going back, if you think about to the day when you signed your first contract to be the head coach here, what would you have said, knowing that in 2024 you'd be signing a contract that included a part about a horse being included on this contract?
I would have never imagined it, and it's just. But again, one of the great things about Nebraska and the University of Nebraska is they allow you to think outside the box and to do new things and to have fun and to honor and respect other people. This is really an honor and respect for Western Nebraska, and we are the beef state. And so I would have never envisioned it, but when I was driving through Wyoming, I came to it just popped in my head like the stadium match did. It's just, and I'm like, well, let's try it, and this is what I love, because, they don't say no. And Troy was like, this is a really cool idea. Let's see if we can make it work. And that's why I signed my first contract at Nebraska, because Bill Byrne told me, he goes, "I'll never tell you no. We may not be able to do it, but I'll never tell you no." And it's the same thing here 24 years later. We've got an AD that is saying, he's not saying no. He says, we're going to try to find a way to make this work. If it's important to you, and this is something that, I kind of can share with the whole state.
I love it. Well, I guess headed into full speed into the summer. I know you got team members dispersed a bunch of different places, and you're working in camps and all that kind of stuff. It's a busy time. But how do you feel about where your team's at right now at this point, after you had spring and then you're moving into all the summer activities?
Well, first of all, we're excited just to get everybody here. Everybody is now in town, so we're great. We actually start tomorrow. We'll get going. But it's going to be a weird June, because we're going to have over half our team will be on USA teams, which is exciting and great for them. And the ones that are here, we're going to have to work really hard to continue building our culture and working hard. and then we'll get everybody back together in July, and then really push for, getting ready for the fall. And we're actually going to play the first match will be a few days earlier than the rest of the regular season. You guys will hear more about that as soon as we can release our schedule, which we still don't have it from the Big Ten yet. So that's always the theme this time of year. When are we going to get it? We got that challenge ahead of us, and we'll be starting a little earlier than normal. But I'm really excited. I think this group is super motivated. It's going to be really, really competitive. I think you did, by the way, you and Kelly did an awesome job on your little podcast with her, and she talked about a lot of the things that, we're excited about. We've got a very talented team, a lot of competition, and now we've got to pull it together to make it, a great team that's going to be a great team and playing for each other.
Awesome. Great stuff. Thank you so much, Coach, for spending some time with us. And it was fun talking about the horses and the cowboys and the rodeo.
Well, it's like I said, I think you got to keep challenging yourself and find hobbies. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. And I saw Matt Rule got to go to Ireland golfing. That's another thing I would love to do someday. But we, as coaches, we talk about our players not burning out. This is a way to continue to not burn out and to have other things that are outside of volleyball, but also, I think, making us better coaches. And so that's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about it. And like I told you before, and I'll keep saying it, the people. We've got these great people in Nebraska, and this Western world is unbelievable.
Yeah, and we have plenty of time to talk about volleyball, so we thought we'd take the time and talk about number 415. So hopefully we'll see some videos out with you riding him soon.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. He's out in the Pitzer Ranch or Mark Ray's ranch right now, out in Erickson. So I'm going to try to get out there and get some video and pictures since we're doing this, and get it out there so everybody can put a name for 15 with a face.
I feel like we should call him Hot Rod.
That may be good. Hot Rod.
Because it's kind of, it's kind of hard to remember 415, but Hot Rod, that might work.
Well, maybe we'll work on that. I don't know if I want to get on a horse telling me the Hot Rod. He goes plenty fast enough for me.
Oh, Coach Cook, thank you so much. Great stuff, and we'll look forward to chatting with you soon.
Okay, and excited for baseball. It's awesome to see those guys, man. What a great team we have. It's going to be fun to follow them.
Absolutely. Coach Cook, have a good one.
Okay, thanks.
We're back with more on Sports Nightly coming up after this.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the Trail-Tamin 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day-by-day donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Woodhouse Chevy brings you two convenient locations in Omaha and Missouri Valley. Lease a 2024 Chevy Trailblazer for $299 a month for 36 months, 10,000 miles per year at our Omaha location. Together, let's drive with Woodhouse Chevy. With approved credit, first payment and $299 doc fee due at sign-in. Retired courtesy transportation vehicle. Must have current Chevy lease through GM Financial to qualify. Offer expires 6/3/2024. See dealer for details.
Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. I learned a lot about Horse 415.
I did too. You can just hear how passionate he is about it, but also the importance of that, of finding an outlet. And I mean, you could just hear him talking about not just the rodeo and the horses, but this team and volleyball, and the passion's there. I thought that was fascinating too when he was talking about, the older you get, maybe you start to peak and you find a new level. And he, seems to love it as much as, if not more than he ever has, and balances out, his passion for the rodeo and the horses and coaching volleyball.
He also is pretty good about spreading kind of the love around. He's spoken highly about Matt Rural. He mentioned baseball. He mentioned working out with Allison Widener.
Yeah.
I think there's a real deep care that he has about Husker athletics.
He really does. And he talked about he can't wait for Friday night against Colorado, or Saturday night primetime against Colorado.
Well, he'll be down there with you.
Oh yeah, he will be. He went to multiple scrimmages. He loves football and he loves picking the brain and watching it. But he mentioned Troy Dannon and his vision. And this is a crazy time right now, and there's a lot of unknowns of how this is going to affect. There's still a lot of unknowns, even though there's been some announcements made and the settlement and all of that, but how it's going to affect women's sports, and that's still a work in progress. And so that's what Coach Cook said. We're all saying, what about this? What about this? And Troy Dann's he's so plugged in with everything, and he's been so good about keeping people informed and making sure that they are on the up and up on what's going to happen in the future. So, he talked a lot about it. And I think he loves being a part here. He loves everything that's going on. And it's a fun time for sure.
If problem gambling is burning up your money, there's a way out. Help is free and confidential for Nebraskans and their families. No judgment, just help. Visit lifeafterbet.com. The SEC has been having their meetings this week in Hoover, Alabama. The Big Ten did it a couple weeks ago out in L.A. You had Troy on from L.A. last week. One of their discussions is to try to limit the walk-on program for football. The coaches are not liking that at all. But again, that goes back to Title IX and trying to even the playing field on the numbers.
Yeah, and just with the revenue share and all of that, and there are certain sports that might potentially benefit from this because you're going to lose the scholarship cap in sports like baseball and softball, and so you can give a scholarship to everybody, but you're just going to be limited on that number of people you have on your roster. But for football is where it really affects, because if you cap it at 85, but Nebraska's not the only program that's going to have an issue with that. I mean, there's a lot of SEC schools that carry a big roster. I think I've told the story a time or two, but when we had gone back to Oklahoma the first year I was here, and I was chatting with one of the coaches that were on staff there, and when the announcement had come that they were moving to the SEC, the first thing the coach had asked me about how many walk-ons are here at Nebraska, and said that they had a discussion as a coaching staff that we've got to have more bodies to be able to practice and to be able to compete in the SEC, because they've just got a ton of guys on their field, and Oklahoma was not going to be able to compete with that because they couldn't go ones-on-ones the whole time. And so that was an issue that Oklahoma was trying to address to be able to compete in the SEC, to feel like they had the practice squad to be able to go prepare themselves to compete in the SEC. So I got to imagine the SEC schools are not going to like that either.
Don't you or Cole Boomey, but Nebraska's former AD made comments at the SEC meeting. He said, we don't have a revenue problem. We got a lot of revenue. He goes, we have a spending problem in college sports. And he's right. I mean, I disagree with Trev on some things, but I think he's right in this case. Yeah.
I mean, for so long there was unlimited budgets, and you weren't thinking think how long that we managed college sports with just the revenue coming in and not thinking about sharing it with the student athletes and this revenue share thing. I mean, this has been a pretty recent, I know it's been talked about, but in terms of, hey, we've got to get really serious about this, I really feel like it's only been in recent years. So for so long, and so then you get to this habit of spend, and then now you're going to have to pull back on a lot of that.
Yep. Woodhouse Auto Family, your trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Back to wrap up hour one next.
Don't pay retail for your diamond engagement ring or gift. Come to CleanOrigin.com. Founded by a leading family in the diamond industry for more than a century, we're experts in lab-grown diamonds because that's all we do. Clean Origin, the only diamond jewelers who give you a 100-day, no questions asked return on your purchase. Head to CleanOrigin.com or one of our retail stores and mention code Radio10 for 10% off your purchase. That's CleanOrigin.com, code Radio10.
Experience the difference and save more when you shop at one of our 3 convenient Woodhouse Ford locations. And right now, it's more affordable than ever to get behind the wheel of a new vehicle when you visit a Woodhouse Ford dealership. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on the 2024 Ford F-150 Super Crew XLT. With approved credit, $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 5/31/2024. See dealer for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
You're back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Spencer Schwellenbach is through 2 innings. He gave up a leadoff triple in the second, but worked around it. So he's got 2 zeros on the board in his Major League debut in Atlanta tonight against the Nationals. We'll keep an eye on that. What an exciting day for him. So hard to make the big leagues. Really hard to stay in the big leagues once you get there, but I'm really happy for him having a good start. Ben told me that Spencer is from the state of Michigan, and that Spencer's parents came to a game or two at Michigan State a few weeks ago, and the Huskers played up there.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
You're a big fan of Spencer. Where does he rank among some of your all-time favorite Huskers in sport?
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Player of the year in the league. It's hard to beat that. I mean, we talked about Brett Sears being pitcher of the year. That's awesome. Player. I mean, part of Spencer was that he pitched because he was a closer. So he won the John Olerud, which is the two-way player, pitcher, position player. That's a hard award to win. He won that. He would be in the top 5 of all-time Husker greats.
And personality and just as a person, too, right? Ben also was telling us today that he basically was hurt and had the elbow issue basically that whole year that he earned Player of the Year.
Pitched right through it.
Yeah. So that also speaks volumes too. But I remember when they drafted him and the Braves were, I mean, they drafted him. Hey, we don't really know, but they thought that they probably would move him towards pitcher, and here it is. And it didn't take long.
And I think they knew they had to do some work on his arm.
Yes.
So they were willing to take the time to get him to do that. So
he basically missed the 2021 season, part of the 2022 season. So look how quickly he got to the big leagues.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Crazy. Good start. We'll keep an eye on that in hour 2. Coming up in hour 2, we're going to talk some Husker track and field. Rhema is going to join us. Otabor. And Dave Mlnarik will be here to talk about the Cornhusker State Games, which are coming up right after the 4th of July. A lot of events, a lot of cool things. Still time for you to get signed up if you want to get a team together and take part in a team sport. One thing I'm going to ask him, what's your biggest sport? Usually it surprises me. So we'll get into that with Dave coming up in hour number 2.
We still sometimes, or last couple of years, we've chatted about trying to sign Cole up for something, or Andrew before.
Do they have rock climbing? They might.
I feel like we need to maybe find a sport for Cole and Camden to go up there and compete in.
I don't know about Camden. I just don't know. I don't know that ability is there.
Wow.
Love Camden to death.
They also are adamant that they are going to run the road race this year. They didn't get to last year because of the weather, but I don't know. Maybe we need to see about finding them a sport that they could sign up.
That'd be good. Hey, the Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Oh, boy, great to hear from John Cook. Horse 415, now part of his new contract with Husker Volleyball that'll keep him as a coach through the 2028 season. That should make all Husker fans celebrate that the greatest coach in that sport is going to be a Husker for quite a while. All right, 1 hour down, an hour to go before we get done here tonight.
I found a sport, arm wrestling.
For Camden?
Or Cole. No?
We'll run that one by Cole.
Okay.
I'll let Camden take it.
All right. You'll pass the torch. Ooh, how about that?
Miniature golf.
To Camden. I could do that. 1 down, 1 to go. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at gosarpy.com.
Good evening. I'm Cole Hartman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. There were multiple headlines today for the Nebraska softball team. Senior shortstop Billy Andrews was named a third-team All-American by the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. Andrews was recognized as an All-American for the second straight season, becoming the 10th player in program history to be a two-time All-American. The Nebraska native hit .383 this season with 10 doubles, 2 triples, 18 home runs, and 45 RBIs. Keeping with softball, the team added a talented middle infielder in Ava Kuzak to their 2025 roster. Kuzak is a transfer from Wisconsin who will be a junior next year with 2 seasons of eligibility at Nebraska. The Colorado native was a second-team All-Big Ten and third-team All-Regions selection in her first season as an everyday starter in 2024. She had a breakout sophomore season, hitting .318 with 15 doubles, 1 triple, 9 home runs, and 32 RBIs. Head coach Rhonda Revelle said, "Ava is a fiery competitor who is a powerful, fast, and explosive player. Husker fans will absolutely love how she plays the game with so much energy and passion." Turning towards the other diamond sport, there's big Husker news in Major League Baseball. Former Husker Spencer Schwellenbach is set to become the 40th Nebraska baseball player to reach the major leagues after his contract was selected by the Atlanta Braves. Spencer is on the mound now against the Nationals, where he is through 3 scoreless innings with 3 strikeouts. Finally, Director of Athletics Troy Dannon announced today that Nebraska has signed a 4-time national champion head volleyball coach John Cook to a new 5-year contract. The recently completed deal runs through January 31st of 2029, with Cook receiving an annual salary of $825,000 beginning on June 1st. Quote, "We are fortunate to have John Cook leading our volleyball program," Dannon said. "He is the most accomplished coach in the nation and one of the top coaches in the history of American volleyball." Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is coming up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
And they 1-0. Swung on, hit pretty well towards the left field, and it's going to sail out of here onto the concourse behind 126. Josh carrying it with a 3-run bomb, and it's 3-1 Huskers.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball ripped to left center field. That's going to be a gapper. That's going to score the run. And the Huskers have taken a 2-1 lead. Gabe Swanson with an RBI double. It's now Nebraska 2, Penn State 1 in the top of the 9th. Brett ready to deliver the first pitch. Breaking ball, that's looped in left field. Gabe Swanson is there. He squeezes it. And your Huskers are Big Ten champions. After losing game 1 Tuesday night, they come back and win 5 straight and capture the Big Ten tournament for the first time since joining the league. And the dog pile is ongoing in front of the plate.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And I need to start with an apology. I was far too hard on Camden. He's not here to defend himself. That was a cheap shot on my part. Camden, I am sorry, my pal.
He's listening, and he felt like he's got a couple sports he might be able to go compete in.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure he could. Yeah.
He'll be in tomorrow, right, Cole? Yes. So maybe we can let him defend himself.
Pass along my sorries, because that was over the top. Should not have been able to do that, too. Got a text during the top of the hour says, hey, everybody says this NCAA deal is done. Some of the smaller schools like Creighton are saying they are not going to be paying as much as the settlement calls for. If you don't have football revenue coming in your school, you're kind of behind the 8 ball. And that's, you're almost going to have a tier system in college sports. Again, I don't like it, but I think that's, as well as dealing with Title IX, you're going to have a tier system about who kind of the powers are and who aren't.
Yeah, and there are certain tiers to what they're going to pay out. So there's a back payment that they are going to pay for that was part of the basically the lawsuit. But then moving forward, that's the revenue share that we're talking about. and there's a cap at $22 million. Now, you don't have to pay $22 million. Like, I don't think there's any way Maryland and Rutgers
probably not
are going to be able to pay $22 million. Some of the other schools but you are capped at $22 million of what you can share. So you don't have to spend that. But so yes, there's going to be a lot of schools that don't meet that. But that's just, you can't spend more than that. So I saw an article the other day, it's a fascinating breakdown of Ohio State. So there's a certain percentage of what you bring in that it's maxed out on, but basically, Ohio State has a huge budget. They make by far more than anybody.
Yeah.
But then there's someone like Arkansas, I think, makes $100 million. It's just it's different. And yes, there are different types of programs that have different kinds of revenue share that they're going to be able to give. But yeah, it's definitely going to separate. And that's where I think people are saying that we might see a completely different collegiate model, because there are going to be programs like in the SEC and the Big Ten that just have more resources, more revenue to dole out to their athletes than some of the other conferences.
Absolutely. Sarpy County, where great food, drink, shopping, concerts, and fun await you. Stay, play, plan your getaway at GoSarpy.com. Well, last year at the NCAA Outdoor Championships, Rema Otabor was a winner of a national championship. She'll be back next week up in Eugene, Oregon to try to defend her title. Earlier today, Jessica had a chance to catch up with Rema.
Let's start off the top. You're from the Bahamas, so you have the awesome Bahamian accent.
Oh, thank you.
How did you get here? Tell us your journey to how you got to Nebraska.
Okay, so essentially, I had planned to go off to school in the States. I started off in Florida, actually, at Florida International University. And after spending 2 years down at Florida, I decided that there's more that I want to accomplish, but I didn't know if it was exactly the institution that was going to allow me to do the things that I kind of wanted to do, especially in regards to athletics. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to go into the transfer portal, and Nebraska was one of those schools that reached out to me. And I came down on a visit. I enjoyed the visit, and I don't know, long story short, here I am.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So you are, again, the reigning national champion in the women's javelin. You and Axelina both won a title, and first women for Nebraska track and field that have done that since 2006. But how did you get into throwing the javelin? Take us back all the way from the start, how you got into track and field and how you started in the javelin.
Okay, so I essentially had been in the track and field world, but more so on the track. Like when I was younger, I ran, and then I even did like the 400. It killed me though. And then I migrated more into softball, and I played softball for a really long time. Wow. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And then when I entered high school, we have this Bahamian inter-school competition called BAISS, and my high school coach at the time, we needed somebody to fill in for my age category in the javelin. And my brother threw javelin already. I played softball, and my high school coach might have thought, like, maybe something would work out. You're athletic, so maybe we could get some points from this event if we put you in it. And so that's what he did. We worked on it for like maybe a month, and then I went out there, I competed, and I actually did a lot better than I thought I would. And so that was encouraging. But I would always, like, after track and field season back home would end, I would always put the javelin down and go back to softball. And I did that for like maybe 2 years until in 2018, I had qualified for like a regional competition called Carifta. So all the Caribbean countries would come together and compete against each other. And magically I made the team, and I did really well there. And I had a blast with my first true track and field experience with the national team. And from there, like, I decided to make the switch from softball to track and field completely.
To put into perspective, there's only 3 programs, women's programs, that have 4 athletes competing in events at the NCAA championship. So you guys are one of 3 programs that have 4 athletes that will be competing. And, you know, as a group, and I know you guys expect that, but how much pride do you take in that you guys are doing something that not a lot of people, not a lot of programs can say they can do?
Obviously, yeah, that definitely does tell us that we got something going on that not a lot of other people probably have. And so, yeah, it's amazing. I think, it's like I'm surprised. I wasn't let me see, what's the word?
You guys were confident, right?
Yes, we were confident,
yeah.
and it definitely was like a wow factor, but it was like, it's beyond that because we know we have it in us, and we did it, you know what I mean? And so I think it's amazing, but I also try not to be too surprised because we had it in us, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So how helpful is that? Because it is an individual sport, and you are competing against yourself and beating your personal records, but to have 3 other teammates that are going to be with you on this stage, how helpful is that?
Oh, it is definitely very helpful and very inspiring, you know, if somebody might be down, someone will literally be right on the side of them to pick them up, you know, and that's always very encouraging. But it gives you a whole lot more confidence going into it, knowing that you're not going to be doing it by yourself, and it makes it feel more like, I don't know, more welcoming, a more enjoyable experience. Yeah.
So we talked about Justin Sinclair and him playing a role in you coming here, but the proof is in the pudding, right? And he's got athletes that are also competing that have already qualified for Olympics. So what is it about him that sets him apart, that makes him such an elite jav coach?
I think definitely his experience in javelin specifically. You know, he was a jav thrower himself, and then his experience in the sport as a whole definitely does play a role in what he could teach us and wisdom he could share with us. To me, he also seemed to be a type of person that I could sit down and talk with and have a conversation and be like, hey, coach, I don't necessarily like how this is feeling. Maybe you could explain this a little bit more. Maybe you could tell me why we're doing this exact drill. Like, what does this help? So you could communicate with him and you could learn kind of more of what you're doing. So maybe it'll stick with you a little better. And he also keeps a pretty cool head in situations where even I tend to freak out. Like, I'll never forget regionals last year. I started freaking out a little bit because I was like, I have one more throw. I'm not sitting in a good position. And I like took a look at him, and he was just like, he just gave me a nod. He was like, just go for it type of situation. And I think that definitely helps me to stay more calm and reserved and evidently perform better. But I think those attributes do help. Yeah.
Love that. So once you win the national title and you start doing these things for your home country, and you know, just it's such a proud country. You and I were talking before. I have worked with an athlete from the Bahamas, and it was really cool to see the amount of support. How special is that? How much pride you take in that, and not only representing Nebraska but representing the Bahamas?
I think it's an amazing honor that I have on my shoulder. Like, I love the support, just like you mentioned. It is unlike any other. Like, the minute something happens, like, somebody back home posts it, and I get, like, a bunch of messages flooding, congratulations, Rhema, we're so proud of you. Like, stuff along those lines. But it is encouraging, and it's a wonderful experience. I love it, yeah.
So what has it been like then when you came to Nebraska? Had you been here before your visit, and then what do you think when you moved here? It kind of gets a little cold. What do you think of the snow?
So I only came here on my visit. That was the one and only time that I ventured into Nebraska, and I came when it was warm. So I was like, oh, this is toasty. Everybody's telling me it's going to be cold, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And it was cold. It was really, really cold. And I must say I'm not the biggest fan of the winter here, but it comes and goes, and I can endure it enough to get my practices in, get my training in, and I don't know. I like Nebraska. It's full of a lot of nice people. Like, people were telling me it's the Nebraska nice that you've been experiencing, but I love the people here. Like I said, the winter, not my favorite, but all in all, I enjoyed my time.
So what do you think of the snow?
It was beautiful. The first time I saw this, being in Nebraska was the first time I've ever seen snow in my life. Yep. And I'll never forget when just the flurries were coming down, and I was freaking out. I was walking out of the library, and they started coming down, and I started recording it, and I was like sending it to my family. I was like, guys, it's snowing, it's snowing. But it was only the little flurries. And then when the real snow came, like, I just was bewildered by how beautiful I thought it was. You know, it was just, even in the night seemed brighter because of the snow on the floor, you know? And then after maybe 3 days, then I was like, oh, it's cold, you know? But I think it's beautiful, yeah.
You just graduated, and I know the academics part was really important to you. Tell us about that and why that was an important part of your student-athlete experience.
So growing up, I was taught by my aunts of the importance of an education. They would always drill into me, like, whatever skill you have, whatever thing you could do, it's all fine and it's dandy and it's nice, but something that nobody could ever take from you would be your education, something that's in your mind, you know? And so from that, even when I was in high school, they would always be like, make sure your grades up, make sure you're focusing on your education, you know, because I had been balancing being a student athlete from like even before I came to college, but obviously college was up a notch. And so I really wanted to get into a program that was gonna give me the major that I want, actuarial science, which isn't a common major in most colleges, unfortunately, but I wanted to make sure that I could get to school like that, which in Nebraska is, and Nebraska has an amazing actuarial science program, like truly amazing. And so when I saw how nice the program was, even from like, from just like my first 2-3 weeks, I was already getting I feel like I was getting the experience that I had wanted from when I entered college to begin with, but unfortunately wasn't able to. But I thought it was amazing, and yeah, definitely education is something that is ingrained in me to be something to look out for or to stay on top of, yeah.
So, okay, let's circle back and talk this week, because you guys got 19 athletes that'll be competing there at the NCAA championships all next week starting Wednesday, but you guys are going Thursday. What, you've been there, you've done it, you've stayed at the top of the podium, but you got 3 other teammates that are going to be competing too. What goes into maybe you guys having a great showing out there at the NCAA championships?
I think just trusting what we've been working on, you know, and staying confident in our abilities, you know. Sometimes, or I should say most times, when you go and compete, it's like it's a mental battle before it's a physical one. And so just trusting what we've been doing, staying confident, and being aggressive and just going out there and showing the reason why you made it this far, you know. And so that's kind of what we're going to focus on. And then brush up on any technical things that we might have been struggling with recently. But yeah.
Well, and you know, we just talked about a lot of different things, but what has it meant to you to be a Husker, to wear the uniform to represent Nebraska?
I think it's definitely something to take a lot of pride in. I think the school in general, like the support and all the resources and just experience on a whole is just another level. Like, I enjoyed every bit of it, and I hope that more and more people could hopefully become a Husker themselves. Like, it's amazing.
Oh, what an absolute delight. She was incredible to chat with, and we love our accents around here, and the Bahamian accent, she's great to listen to, but she's got a chance to go.
Yeah.
She certainly is one of the best and the favorite going down there, so could very well be competing to repeat.
And the field is loaded with Huskers.
Yes, so there is only, the Nebraska Track and Field put out this stat, but there's only 3 programs that have 4 athletes in one event, and the Huskers are one of those in the javelin.
Wow.
So they have 4 in that field, and they got a chance to rack up some points there. The women have a great showing. You know, they have a lot of bodies, which that's what you have to do to be able to compete for national titles. You got to have a lot of people qualify. The women have a chance probably to finish as high as they've finished in a while, right? I mean, I don't know when's the last top, but they got a chance to maybe rack up some big time points.
They do. Again, we're about a week away from the NCAA meet getting sorted out in Eugene, Oregon. And so good luck to those Husker athletes as they get ready to travel out west. I loved her talking about snow. At first she goes, beautiful. And then later she's like, get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, she had never seen it before until she got here. And her family, they said when they came, they brought some Bahamian food, the conch and some other things that they freeze fried and then brought on to the flight. So they made her some home cooked food. But they said, is it going to be cold there? And she goes, no, it's warm now. But she said that was an adjustment. But she thought it was pretty. But you know, if you've never seen it before, I got to imagine it's pretty overwhelming.
No doubt. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about the Cornhusker State Games. We've got a deadline coming up to get yourself registered to compete. It's July 11th when it gets going. Dave Mlnarik of the Nebraska Sports Council will join us next.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting Major Macy Byers with Campus News. A surgical robot developed by UNL professor Shane Ferreter has received FDA approval, paving the way for greater access to advanced medical procedures in rural areas. The FDA approval followed a successful test of the robot aboard the International Space Station in February. The test involved months of preparation for UNL faculty and students working in close collaboration with NASA to launch and deliver the robot.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground-truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. We're toward the end of May. It'll be early July, and we're going to get the Cornhusker State Games cranked up again, and none better to tell us all about it than the Executive Director of the Nebraska Sports Council, Dave Mlnarik. Great to see you. I hope you had a good Memorial weekend, Dave.
Great to see you. You know, I was out of state, and it was a great comfort to be able to listen to you and Ben and the whole crew bring Husker baseball to me wherever I was at. And I want to say that it's just heartwarming to hear you and know that you're in this fight, and want you to know that everybody at the Nebraska Sports Council is praying for you and pulling for you, and it's just awesome that you're working through this.
I appreciate that very much. That means a lot. All right. Give us a little history lesson, Dave, on the Cornhusker State Games, and I guess a big anniversary year, right?
Yes, we're celebrating 40 years. The first Cornhusker State Games took place in 1985, so this will be year number 40. And of course, when you have a milestone like that, you do it causes you to take some time to reminisce. I've been around the Sports Council since '91. That was my first Cornhusker State Games on the staff, and back then I was the torch run coordinator, and met so many awesome people across Nebraska during the torch run. But then, you know, coming into the games, I got to see what it was like for the first time, and I was stuck for good for as long as they would have me, because it's a unique offering of sport, something different. I say it's basically loosely modeled after the Olympics. We have more than 70 sports now, and it's for athletes of all ages and all abilities, and that appealed to me from the very beginning of my time at the Sports Council. The formula remains the same. This year's Cornhusker State Games, July 11th through the 21st, and, you know, celebrating 40 years, we had our board set up an endowment, because we're starting to also think about the next 40 and how we can see to the financial stability of the organization and give people an opportunity to help contribute to the permanence of the organization. But in '85, there were 19 sports and about 3,000 athletes, and this year we're pushing probably to be over 10,000 athletes.
Wow.
The athletes come from, you know, generally more than 80 counties per year out of the 93 counties in Nebraska, so it really does meld rural and small-town Nebraska with the folks from Omaha and Lincoln and the other more metropolitan areas. We now have competitions in 6 different Nebraska communities, lots of areas in between, so we've kind of taken the games out to some of these other towns, and it's just a wonderful celebration of sports and a great celebration of state pride.
Again, visiting with Dave Mlnarik, the Executive Director of the Nebraska Sports Council. Have you added any sports this year, Dave?
We have one new sport this year, and it's wiffle ball.
Oh, nice. We all played that as a kid.
Yeah, and there's a pretty competitive league going on here in Lincoln, and the organizers of that league came to us and said, you know, we could do this in the Cornhusker State Games if you'll let us. Put their application in, and everything looks good. So we're going all out for wiffle ball.
Love it. Fantastic. Where are we at in, excuse me, in the registration deadline? Can people still get involved in the games?
Yes, you can register all the way up until July 2nd for most sports. We have what we call the free shirt deadline coming up on June 19th. So, you know, roughly 3 weeks you've got to get your registration in, and that ensures that you're going to get your free 40th anniversary souvenir Cornhusker State Games athlete shirt. We also have a package of what we call the Summer Fun freebies. And everybody who signs up by June 19th gets this package. It's retail, it's worth over $60, and it includes vouchers for a free Salt Dogs game, a free Storm Chasers game, free pass to Lancaster Super Fair, Nebraska State Fair, Arby's roast beef sandwich, and of course the Nebraska Land Days Rodeo. So there's a lot of fun to be had during the summer, and if you're building your summer and you want to have a great time with experiences and get out of the house and enjoy Nebraska, do the Cornhusker State Games, take advantage of the other events, great events that are happening in Nebraska.
Dave, what's the easiest, best way for people to get signed up?
Just go to CornhuskerStateGames.com. click the sport listing, find the sport that you want to try or participate in, and click the register button. Sign up right there.
All right, you mentioned that you got your start kind of putting together the torch run. Have you made announcements about who some of the torch runners will be, or who will light the eventual cauldron?
Yeah, July 11th, Thursday, July 11th, that evening, we're going to do our opening night festivities right in front of Pinnacle Bank Arena. And we're proud to announce that Rebecca Alec and Josiah Alec will be this year's honorary torch lighters. And we couldn't be prouder of that representation of Nebraska to Nebraska kids. And they really represent the spirit of their teams. And that's what we try to put out with the torch lighting. The cauldron, that fire represents the spirit of all the athletes that are participating. And there couldn't be a better representative of fire and spirit than Rebecca and Josiah. So it's going to be a really fun night.
Oh, that is a home run selection by you and the committee. You've had some great ones in the past. I mean, it's kind of been a who's who of sports in this state in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, you know, last year, Nicklin Hames touched it off, and part of that contingent, we had Jazz Shelley and Jordy Ball, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Over the years, you know, the names that jump out, Eric Crouch and Alex Gordon, you know, a lot of the Huskers that went on to the NFL. You know, we honored baseball a couple times with Jeff Lisey and Jabba Chamberlain, Johnny Dorn, and that crew. Rulon Gardner, who was an Olympic champion, coming off of the upset of the great Carolyn over the Russian in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. You know, Jordan Burroughs has been another great representative of wrestling, but it really is a who's who of Nebraskans, and every year it's about the story, and it's about, you know, the character of the representative that allows us and makes the determination of who we choose for that.
Again, visiting with Dave Mlnarik, the Nebraska Sports Council Executive Director. Dave, what are some of the more highly participated in sports?
You know that one of the largest sports, or the largest sport for the past several years, is actually ice hockey.
Whoa!
We have, of all the youth team sports, ice hockey has really found a spot in July in Omaha to bring together some of the top hockey teams from the nearby states and Nebraska for a great hockey tournament. If you combined all the shooting sports, that would be the second largest category, would be shooting. Our walk events are very popular. Basketball, volleyball, soccer, still very popular sports. Track and field is right up there at the top. It's really enjoyed some growth in the state games over the past few years. And it's really the only meet where you can have, you know, athletes of all ages competing in the same meet together. So those are just a few examples.
All right, Cornhusker State Games, July 11th to the 21st. Let's go back, kind of loop back around to registration deadlines and the best way for people that may be listening tonight to get themselves involved.
Yep, once again, the dates of the event are July 11th through the 21st. The website is cornhuskerstategames.com. That's where you find all the sport offerings. That's where you register. June 19th is an important date because that's the date that you need to register by to get your free shirt and all the summer fun freebies. We do take registrations after that, but it's always best to act now. Get your registration in and start making your plans.
Fantastic. Hey, I know you're a Cardinals guy. What is going on? They're red hot.
It's about time, Greg. It was a pretty slow start, to say the least. But it does look like the pitching is kind of falling into place, and you got the two big hitters that are really starting to hit the ball like you'd expect them to, and that always is usually kind of a catalyst for a team when your best players start playing the best.
Fantastic. Dave, we appreciate all the information you've thrown at us. One of my goals is to get myself healthy and come out and play some golf with you again someday.
Hey, we're going to do it, man. You just plan on it.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Greg.
Dave joined us on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. They are your trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. All right, phone lines, text lines back open for you, 402-413-2400. Would not have guessed that ice hockey, youth ice hockey, would be one of the higher participated sports in the Cornhusker State Games. You learn something every day, right, folks? All right, Jessica will rejoin me next.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the RMA 460V lawnmower battery set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK30 battery and L101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates may apply and may vary by carrier. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Not Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Not Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Not Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for that totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy Exclusive perks, pricing on hundreds of items, in-store and online. Go score, excuse me, big savings today at IV.com/perks. Hy-Vee, the official grocer partner of Husker Athletics. They are your one-stop shopping for making your life easier, healthier, happier. Go visit your local Hy-Vee today. I want to talk about a couple of stories in the golf world. Scotty Scheffler, charges dropped today, thank goodness. That would have been a mess, I think, if they pursued that, right?
Yes, I saw, too, an interview with his lawyer, and he was letting the reporters have it on a few things, but I didn't read all the statement, but I guess the police officer released a statement. But and then I think there was a stipulation, right, that no legal charges either way. So Scotty won't sue, and then they can't pursue anything else.
Should have happened a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now, good for that. The other one's a way more serious topic. Grayson Murray, PGA player, took his life last Friday. He's battled mental health issues. And Jessica, I know you've done so many stories here at Nebraska, and I applaud professional organizations, college sports, for pouring resources into mental health awareness. And that's an example of it's needed, people. And these athletes, even though we all think they live a glorious life and everything's perfect, it's not. We don't see what's deep inside. So kudos to anybody who's working in that industry, whether it's a Nebraska, Big Ten, pro sports. Keep up the fight, because there's a lot of people dealing with this every single day.
Yeah, and I know Grayson was open and was vocal about some of his struggles, and I've seen a lot of people that have tweeted about it and just responded about it. It can be a lifelong battle. Even you might think you get through it, and then you never know. And so it's something that, yes, I've talked with some student athletes that have had some really tough mental struggles that a lot of them have said they don't know where they'd be had it not been for the psych department here at Nebraska. And so, it's certainly, I know here, one of the best in the country in terms of the staff and being able to have the one-on-ones and whether it be sports performance or some of the serious issues. They are trained on all of it and are able to be there and help navigate through that. We just, Brett Haskell had been here for so long, and she is renowned in the sports psychology world. And they had promoted someone from within. I'm sorry, I was going to look that up, but I have her on my list to be able to chat with. But, it's just, it's so important. And we've heard Coach Will come on here and talk about the importance of it and for his athletes. And he even said that, he meets weekly with Dr. Haskell at the time. But yeah, I just hate to see it with Grayson. It was really a sad story, but hopefully, again, the more we talk about it and the more that people like Grayson speak up and talk about some of the things that he went through, that we can continue to maybe get the help out there and get the word out there. Because I think a lot of people probably are scared to reach out for help.
And kudos to the athletes for making that step, right? Setting up that first appointment, walking through that door, and going, I need to talk to somebody. I need some help here. And there's so much going on in this world when you're 19, 20, 21 years old in college. And even take the NFL. You're 21, 22 years old. You got a boatload of money coming your way because you've signed a contract. How do you handle that? And how do you separate being wealthy and have the ability to do things with taking care of yourself and being a pro? So kudos to the athletes. Kudos to anybody who steps into that ring and fights the fight.
Yes. Brianna Ward is the who stepped in to fill Brett Haskell's role, and I know too. I had ran into Dr. Haskell, and they had a couple of positions open that they were filling. So we'll try to get Brianna on to talk about the staff, but they're going to continue because it's important here. They've made it a priority, and I know Coach Cook is one of the biggest advocates as well of that program, and Coach Rule, and we hear a lot of the student athletes that have, in one way or another, been impacted positively. And I know even talking with Dr. Haskell, that there's a lot of moms of recruits that know that the importance of that and having to have that and being able to have that assurance that there is a staff here, a full staff, and one of the bigger staffs for sports psychology in all of college athletics to be able to have those resources to go and have those folks if you feel in need of that. And the fact that it's accepted here, and it is so, it's so important. It really is. And so I'm glad that here at Nebraska, it's such a big priority.
The social media element of our society is so big time right now. Adds so much pressure to these young people's lives. They try to compare themselves to everybody. Then as an athlete, you're probably trying to compare yourself as an athlete to somebody else who maybe went to a different school. There are just an awful lot of outside pressures that I certainly didn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
Maybe you did a little bit more. You're younger than I am, but it's so hard to grow up right now.
Yeah, and especially when you are at, there are a lot of luxuries and great things that come along with being able to be one of these top athletes at these top programs. But it also comes with a lot of pressures and a lot of situations that can be thrown at you in a hurry too. And so, there's a lot of eyeballs on you, and I would not want to be in this day and age. It would be tough. I'm glad that it was not to this degree when I was going through it, but it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, and the NIL and all that kind of stuff. You probably got a lot of people coming at you with a lot of different suggestions, and so it's a hard thing to manage for some student athletes. So yes, being able to have that resource to be able to work through all those different kinds of pressures as well.
And Nebraska has been pretty well staffed in that area. I know you lose a Brett Haskell. It's hard to replace her. She was phenomenal. But I think Troy Dannon is of the same mindset that we've got to keep that department well-oiled, well-stocked, so that we can handle these 600-some athletes that we have on campus right now.
Absolutely, yeah. Because like I said, pretty much all sports are able to utilize. They've got the biggest. I think it was, at one point when I had the conversation with Dr. Haskell, it was the biggest or second biggest sports psych department. It's basically they've been leading the way for a while, and so I know that they have maintained that staff. They hired Brianna, and they brought some couple new people on, so they, yes, absolutely put an emphasis on that, and they will continue to do so.
Very good. All right, 402-413-2400. Need to slip our final break in. We're back to wrap up tonight's show next.
Discover the entire lineup of luxurious sedans and SUVs at Genesis of Southwest Omaha, like the powerful and thrilling Genesis G70. Plus, receive a low APR of 2.9% for 48 months on the 2024 Genesis GV80. Start your car buying journey online at southwestomahagenesis.com today. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. Repayment of $22.09 a month for 48 months for $1,000 finance for well-qualified buyers. No down payment required. Offer expires May 31st, 2024. See dealer for details.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Elevate your journey and command the road like never before with a new vehicle from Woodhouse GMC. Plus, with our current offers going on now, you'll save even more. Receive up to $8,000 off MSRP on the 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab SLT. Woodhouse GMC. We are professional grade. With approved credit, must have 2010 or newer trade-in to qualify. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires June 3rd, 2024. See dealer for details.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network broadcast center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Jessica Coody here, Cole Hartman. We let Greg Sharpe dip out of here a little early today. Cole, so we had the list of the Cornhusker state games going on, and we were talking about some of the things maybe you and Camden could do. I feel like maybe, there's some walking in here. There's pickleball. There's miniature golf, horseshoes. There is cornhole. I feel like there's absolutely some sports that you and Camden could go compete in.
Camden was listening. I don't think he's listening now. He was listening earlier. He texted me. We could go. We might do some cornhole. That seems like our best shot as amateurs to step in. But honestly, these days though, there are professional cornhole players as well.
Yes.
So nothing's free and easy.
And Jake, one of our interns, actually calls the highest level of corn. Do you call it cornhole or beanbags?
Cornhole. I think Nebraskans, is it beanbags in Oklahoma?
What?
We call it cornhole. I feel like most people in Nebraska do.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard both, like bags. I don't know. But yeah, I know that's always a hot topic. But
or pickleball. I'll try and convince. Pickleball's a great sport.
Yes.
Not enough people. It's a mix between table tennis and real tennis.
It's still continuing to grow. I drove out by there's some pickleball courts out here in Lincoln, and boy, it was hopping. Every court was taken. I feel like it continues to be all the rage. My mom actually has taken it up, and she's pretty big time in it. She's like gotten some outfits and stuff, so she's starting to play.
There you go.
I need to play.
It's easy to get into. You only have to buy the pickleball racket, and it's made out of, I think, plastic if you get a cheaper one. So pretty easy to get into. A lot of public places around town have them. I don't know about the rest of the state, but
we know Coach Rule and the staff was pretty big into it last spring. I'd asked him when he was here the other day. He said he hadn't had time to play it yet, but they still have the pickleball net out there.
They still have the tape out in the concourse.
Yes, they're still out there. Maybe we could have one day a battle here.
An HRN tournament.
Yes.
One of these days.
Absolutely. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Got a couple minutes left here on Sports Nightly. So coming up on tomorrow night's show, should be a fun show. We're going to have Ben McLaughlin in here. He's going to preview all the regional action for us down in Stillwater. And then President Koborek will be here. He's going to stop by one of his visits. He's had a couple things come up, so we've had to reschedule, but he's going to be here live in studio coming up tomorrow night. We're going to talk some more track and field because we have a lot of athletes that are going to go compete and have a shot to do some big things at the NCAA championships next week. And then also we are expecting to hear some more football times announced. And so we're going to have somebody on, hopefully, we're working on it. I think it should be pretty close to a done deal that's going to help us break down the draft process, all the networks, navigating all that, the scheduling. So it should be pretty interesting. So we should have lots of fun stuff to talk about tomorrow. But you hoping for some more night games, Cole?
I'm hoping for... Yes, both for the sake that we throw an incredible night game. We host an incredible night game at Nebraska.
And you also don't like to be up early.
It's not great waking up at 5:30 for an 11 a.m. kick, but that's just me.
I agree. I mean, I again prefer that 2:30 kickoff, but hey, we'll see. So all that coming up tomorrow should be a fun show. Cole's joke of the week as well. Camden will be here. We'll let him defend his argument for the Cornhusker State games. We'll see you tomorrow night, everyone.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Experience the thrill of the open road at Woodhouse Hyundai. Right now, lease the 2024 Hyundai Elantra SEL for $299 a month for 36 months with $0 down. Plus, when you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Shopper Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Visit WoodhouseHyundai.com today. 36 months, 10,000 miles per year with approved credit, tax, title, license extra. $299